Good evening and a very, very warm welcome to you wherever you may be. Thank you for tuning in to the Oz Cro Soccer Show. It's episode 47, very, very close to that half a century milestone. And it's an absolute pleasure to be with you here tonight. My name is Tonči Prusat, and it's an equally great pleasure to introduce my right-hand man or left-hand man today, as he is, however you want to look at it. Ante Grabovac, all the way from the Harbour City. How are you, Ante? We're looking very good tonight, aren't we?
Well, we're matching. Let me tell you, it's draw night. That's why we're excited.
Exactly. Well, I'm certainly excited. I think everyone around Australia will be very excited tonight. And yes, it is the draw night. We've got three of the finest gentlemen from the Croatian Soccer Association of Australia joining us a little later on in the show. Tom LUKIC, who's the treasurer, JURE DRAGOVIC, El Presidente, and DAMIEN BRESIC as well. He's head of the football operations. Those gentlemen will be joining us a little bit later on in the show. But, mate, we got heaps of news to talk about tonight, have we not?
Absolutely, yeah. Obviously, Australia Cup kicks off on Friday night. And so, yeah, we'll be covering all the matches that are happening over the next 7 days, actually 8 days. And then, of course, you know, Women's World Cup's happening. We haven't got time to cover that. But, yeah, we're going to be covering all the Croatian news as well. Tonči, you've got all the news that's happening, and as well as some other surprise information. And, yeah, it was a big atmosphere at the Poljud and on Sunday, well, Monday morning our time. So, yeah, another big win for Hajduk as well.
Yeah, there's some European games happening over the next few days as well, crucial games as well. We've got some big announcements locally, a lot of news breaking today as well that involves Australians and Croatians and Australians and all of that kind of stuff. But the biggest news of them all, Ante, is that last week's episode featuring two of our brightest young Australian Croatian footballers that have headed over to Croatia. They've signed professional contracts. Anthony Leban with NK Hrvatske in Dalmatia. And then we've also got Josip Orlovic, ex from Sydney United. He's signed a deal with Mladost Zdralovi in Bjelovar up north. And as a result of the popularity of last week's episode, it was the #1 rating episode on our YouTube channel this year. So well done, folks, to everyone who jumped on board. If you haven't already, jump on YouTube, go to our Oz Cro Soccer Show channel. That's how it's spelled. That's how it looks. And become a subscriber. We're quite a young channel, so we've only got like 215 subscribers. But I think it was definitely a big jump from what we had last week. And if you missed that show, in fact, if you've missed any of our episodes over our last 2 seasons, jump onto that YouTube channel and you'll be able to catch up on everything you've missed out. And man, there's been some golden episodes over the last year and a bit. I'll tell you what, Antisha.
Absolutely golden. Yes, lots of great guests and lots of great discussions. So, yeah, enjoy it while you can. Let's get on to the news, Tonči. We've got a big show.
Yeah, don't go away, folks. It's time. Over to you, Ante.
Thank you so much, Tonči. Bring it up. Round of 32. Friday night. It's finally here. Broadmeadow Magic versus Sydney United at Magic Park. And also, as we mentioned before, Mount Druitt Town Rangers versus Canberra, Croatia. So I think that the tribe will be coming from Canberra, Croatia up to Mount Druitt. So good luck in that fixture. And of course, next Wednesday, and as a result of the game being on Wednesday, so people can watch it on 10 Play, etc., our show is going to be on next Tuesday night. So put that in your diaries. So next Wednesday night, though, Gold Coast are playing Devonport City Strikers, and Melbourne Knights on the Thursday night, the 10th, are playing against Lions FC. So 4 big fixtures over the next 8 days. So, yeah, I mean, make sure you got your 10 Play organized and you haven't forgotten your password and your logins. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything. So just make sure that you have your 10 Play on so you can watch it. But on Friday night, for those of us who are venturing up the M1 to Newcastle, the fantastic crew at Croatia Wickham are welcoming the Sydney United fans from 12 p.m. The actual club will be open and with food available from 2 p.m. So get on up there, leave early from work or take the day off, etc., and get on down. I've got to say, the away game when I went up to Peninsula Power last year was fantastic. The singing and carry on and everything else was absolutely brilliant. So I'm sure that the crew at Croatia Wickham Sports Club are going to have a fantastic atmosphere there. And it's only like a 7-minute drive from there over to Magic Park as well. So go to the club. The club are putting on a big feast for us. So, all the Sydney United fans and all the Newcastle fans, get on down there on Friday evening before the big match.
Yeah, there it is. Good on the Croatian Wickham Sports Club for organising that. So there you go. Make sure you do go there. As I said, the club will be open from 12 p.m. Food available from 2 p.m. And remember, folks, you are ambassadors of the Croatian community. Come to the Croatian Wickham Sports Club and really show respect and show great love for our Croatian community wherever you go, because we are indeed the best community in Australia, and I don't care what anyone says.
I can't wait for Friday night, let me tell you.
No, I wish I was up in New South Wales. I tell you what, it doesn't matter.
Just drive up. Come on.
It's close, isn't it? Moving along, aren't you?
That's right. Massive win on Friday evening by the wonderful Dandenong City. Puts them onto first position. Fortunately, Kingston City lost their match. So, yes, Dandenong City in the chaos competition, as Taunchi likes to call it, are sitting first after that 3-1 victory over Northcote, and they've got 2 critical encounters. So all of the Dandy fans, all of the Croatian fans, get on down there and support them. Monday, August 14, 8:15 p.m. against Bulleen, and then first versus fifth on Sunday, August 19, 3 p.m. Kickoff. Sorry, that's Saturday, August 19, 3 p.m. kickoff versus Eastern Lions at Frank Holohan Reserve. So get on down there and support Dandenong and make sure they get promoted into NPL1 Victoria, because there's only 2 rounds left.
My apologies. I think I missed that slide. I can't find that slide. I do apologise to all the Dandenong fans.
Jeez, unbelievable. Let me tell you. Anyway, moving on. So they're already premiers. They're already promoted, but now they're premiers as well. So well done to Brisbane Knights. Fantastic stuff. So they've secured the premiership as well. And this weekend they are taking on Ipswich City Bulls at 7 p.m. So get on down there and support them. They'll be partying for the rest of the season. There's only 3 rounds left over in Brisbane. In the ACT, we had a double victory for both Croatian clubs. Canberra, Croatia, with a 4-1 victory over Tuggeranong United, and O'Connor also was away and won against Canberra Olympic. So well done to both clubs. O'Connor still sitting pretty, 4 points ahead of the Tigers, and Canberra FC unfortunately sitting in 6th position. But anyway, they both have fixtures, one on Saturday at 3 p.m., that being O'Connor away, and then Canberra, Croatia are at home this very Sunday after, of course, unless they moved that. I'm not sure. If someone in Canberra, because, of course, they got the Friday night game in Sydney. So, but anyway, according to the schedule, it was on this Sunday. That might have changed, but they will be playing the Tigers at some
point. Now, Ante, guess what? I found it. I found the slide for the Dandenong City. So there we go, folks. You can see.
Like a chast.
Dandenong. And how good are they in form? 4 out of the last 5 games they've recorded wins. They are really sitting very well, nice and on top there. And really, they have got their destiny in their own hands, as you can see from that graphic that Ante prepared earlier today. Bulleen Lions and Eastern Lions, they are the 2 teams that they've got. So both winnable games. Indeed, very, very winnable games. But that August the 19th, the last game of the season at Frank Holohan Reserve, not only could Dandenong City celebrate promotion, but they could also celebrate winning the league there. So that is going to be brilliant, absolutely brilliant if it does happen.
Absolutely massive indeed. Moving over to Adelaide. The Raiders are in first spot as well. Fantastic stuff. 38 points, one ahead of Para Hills. They too only have 2 rounds left. So in the remaining matches, round 21, they're playing the 10th place Vipers. That is this Saturday. And then in the final round, they're playing the 3rd place Adelaide Cobras, who on points at the moment still have a chance to also become premiers. So it's a big battle here for promotion. Raiders 1 ahead of Para Hill Knights and 2 ahead of the Cobras. So, anything can happen. So fingers crossed that Adelaide Croatia, again, destiny's in their hands and they can get the 2 victories. They didn't have a game this week, so hopefully they're all rested up and they can do the job in the next 2 rounds.
Another team that could be celebrating promotion at home on the last day of the season, Day Borgia. And the Knights, Gold Coast Knights, another team that's doing very well.
Go the Knights, sitting first, sitting pretty. Unfortunately, only had a 0 or draw on the weekend, but they're actually 5 points ahead of 2nd place Gold Coast United. Hopefully that'll be enough with 3 rounds to play there. They have got a big game this weekend, which is actually the equivalent of the Waratah Cup final and the Doherty Cup down in Victoria. They've got the Pro Series final Sunday, August 5, 7:30 p.m. against Brisbane Olympic at AJ Kelly Park. So, a big week of cup action for them because, of course, then they're in action on the Wednesday night as well in the Australia Cup. So, good luck. Bring home a trophy, Gold Coast Knights. And, of course, they're due to play Sunday, August 13 in their next league match. So, good luck to them. In WA, unfortunately, both Croatian teams went down, and unfortunately, this has cost Western Knights first position. After a good run of results, they are unfortunately now sitting second, 2 points behind Mandurah, and they've only got 4 rounds to play here, so they've got to be really careful. And so this weekend, Western Knights, they are playing the 6th place UWA Netherlands. That's on Saturday afternoon, and Guelph are also at home against Mandurah City. So let's hope Guelph can actually cause an upset to help the Knights on the weekend. That'll be fantastic. So go the Knights.
Okay. Hopefully, who else is going to help if it's not your own kind? Go Guelph, Croatia, do a double thing there, win, and also help the Western Knights out. Moving along now to the Tasmanian competition. Glenelg Knights have had a pretty good season. Devonport City, obviously, runaway competition leaders at the moment.
That's right. Pet Komada, 5-0 against Launceston, which is a fantastic result. They are 7 points, though, behind Devonport City. There's still 7 rounds left to play, so, it's doable, but, we'll see what actually happens in the end there. So it's 4th versus 2nd this Saturday. Glenorchy are away to Launceston City, so let's hope that they can bring home the 3 points. In Newcastle, of course, any Sydney United fans who are hanging on or sleeping overnight in Newcastle, well then, on Saturday afternoon, you've got another match up there against Stockton. Get on down to Corriba Oval and follow Newcastle FC. They had a massive double digits scoreline of 10 goals to 2. They've only got 2 rounds to play and they're sitting in 2nd position. So, you never know what could happen there with the fantastic Newcastle team. In NPL Victoria, the Knights had a big 4-2 win over Hume City, and that leaves them in 4th position. Meanwhile, St. Albans defeated North Geelong, which is great for St. Albans, but unfortunately, because of other results as well, North Geelong are back on bottom position. So, Tawanchi, have you got any other comments about these matches?
Not really. North Geelong will be playing their game against Oakley Cannons, and then they've got a game against South Melbourne. They will be playing their game next Tuesday night when we go live to air. So we'll hopefully have a live cross as well from someone there at Elco Park on that night. But unfortunately, it certainly looks doom and gloom for North Geelong. Look, mathematically they can still do it, but they're playing the second and the third team in the competition. South Melbourne and Oakley Cannons have been quite have been standouts all season, along with Avondale and our very own Knights as well, who have done reasonably well. In fact, they've done not reasonably well; they've done very well. Probably the best performance in the last 5 or so years. So the Knights are doing very well. St Albans, good result, but as their president Ilya Dragicevic said, I think the following day, he goes, "Look, it was a real bittersweet moment. We almost ensured that we're safe from relegation. Mathematically, they're still not, but they've done, I think, enough to suggest that they will be safe, but at the expense of sister club North Geelong. So, what can you do? Now, I've heard a little bit of a rumor that one of the North Geelong players actually has gone overseas, and he's actually trialing with a Croatian club. He's been invited to trial with the junior section of a major Croatian club. We'll keep that under wraps at the moment because it hasn't been yet totally confirmed, but I can confirm that the player in question is young LUKIC, who was the striker. He had a real standout year this year, became pretty much a regular player in the starting lineup. So he is, as we speak, in Croatia at the moment. Could he be yet another export, Australian Croatian export to Croatia? Well, we should know by next week, actually. But that's confirmed that he's the player in question, and he has gone to an as yet unnamed Croatian club.
Fantastic stuff. Yes, indeed. So, 2 rounds to play in this league, as was mentioned. So, the Knights have got a home and away fixture, finishing up the season against Heidelberg. And then St Albans have got a away fixture, then a home fixture, finishing up against Green Gully. And, of course, as was mentioned, North Geelong, the last round against South Melbourne at Elco Park. Even if whatever happens with North Geelong, a win against South Melbourne is always celebrated by any Croatian team, let me tell you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Sydney United back on the winners list. Fantastic stuff. Well done. 2 goals by Patrick Antelmi helped them to a 2-1 victory over Wollongong, and there are still 4 rounds left to play in New South Wales. The game for this week has been moved, so it's to be announced what the actual new date is, but they're playing NWS Spirit because, of course, Sydney United are in that Australia Cup game on Friday night.
Now, Ante, you tell me that you were you went to a Sydney United game for the first time in a long time, and guess what? They won, mate. I reckon you may well be the good luck charm. As President Mark Ivancic made sure that you now attend every Sydney United game until the rest of the season, until the end of the season.
Yeah, maybe. So maybe that's why I'm venturing up the highway on Friday night. So hopefully I'll be a good luck charm there as well. Exactly.
The good luck charm. Moving along.
We'll bring back the old Puma from the NSL days. Let me tell you. That was the club mascot. Now, Herschel Zagreb, 3 red cards. Unbelievable. And no wonder they lost 3-1. So there we go. They're sitting in 11th position. And this is their last home game of the season this very Saturday night. So come on down. There's going to be lots of cevape on the barbecue. There's going to be a bit of a festive atmosphere. It's a fantastic venue if you haven't tried it out. So obviously, if you after your big football fix from Friday night and then extend it on to Saturday, if you are in Sydney, go down for Herschel Zagreb's last home game of the season at Penshurst Park. And moving down to South Coast, they had no game on the weekend, and they play Wollongong United this weekend at Macedonia Park. So on the winners list, we've got quite a few clubs.
Oh, look at that.
What we want to see, exactly. The Newcastle Knights are on a 5-match winning streak. Well done. And there you go. All these other clubs have joined them on the winners list. So well done, and keep that happening. Taunchy, it's been another big week.
It has been indeed a huge week. Folks, we're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, we'll be looking at the Croatian scene in Croatia from an Australian Croatian perspective. But before that, we've also got a little bit of breaking news today that involves a Croatian that has signed for an Australian club. More about that shortly after this very, very short break. Folks, thank you for joining us here on the Oz Cro Soccer Show. A big, big episode coming on tonight. Later on, we are going to have the 3 wise monkeys from the Croatian Soccer Association of Australia, the Saves, joining us for the live tournament draw. That's coming on a little bit later on, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Welcome to LUKIC Studio Architecture. Our approach combines modern design with harmonious solutions tailored to your unique needs. We listen closely to your vision and turn it into a functional, beautiful living environment that truly feels like home. Our designs cater to your needs and evolve with you over time, encouraging deeper connections with family and friends. Specializing in custom residential homes and boutique apartments, we balance luxury and comfort to create a welcoming atmosphere for everyone to enjoy. Discover a world of inviting and captivating design at www.slavycheckstudio.com.au. Contact us for a journey from idea to reality. LUKIC Studio Architecture, turning your dreams into reality.
Welcome back to the Oz Cro Soccer Show. It's episode 47, aren't it? Another 3 more episodes, and we're going to hit that magic 50 episode milestone.
That's going to be fantastic. What are we going to do? We're going to have a party? We're going to celebrate? We're going to meet in Albury Wodonga or something? What are we doing?
I don't know, mate. I haven't even had a chance to think about that. We're barely getting through this episode. He's already got his mind on celebrations. But I'll tell you what, well, in 3 weeks' time, what will happen? Probably Australia Cup, the next round. Maybe we'll have a few champions to crown here in Australia. But in the meantime, fans of the A-League, I sort of joke about that because obviously in our community, some people do and some people don't, and that's perfectly fine. But I tell you what, the A-League this year has taken on a little bit more of a Croatian flavour with the announcement today that a young Croatian player, get this, who's also got an Australian passport, has signed with Melbourne City. And this is big news because Marin Jakolic, 2 years ago, was playing with Hajduk Split. And then he went on loan to Šibenik there in the first Croatian division. And he was he's gone to French League 2 club Angers. I hope I've pronounced it well. Angers. that's the Australian bogan kind of pronunciation, huh? But Jakolic, look, he's still in his prime. He's an absolute gun of a player. He wasn't able to make it at Hajduk Split a couple of years ago, even though he was, he probably in any other era of the team, he would have, done it easily. But he's a good player. He's a dynamic player. And I like that little bit where Melbourne City today issued the press release, and they actually said, Dobrodošao, Marin, Croatian forward, joins City on loan. So that is great news.
Former youth Croatian international as well. So, he's got a good pedigree. So fingers crossed he can make it work for him in the A-League.
Yeah, and not only that, he does possess an Australian passport because his father, now I'm not sure if he was born here in Australia or he just lived here for 15 years and then went over to Croatia. So he does, by virtue of that, he does actually have a I have to put Tony Chava's comment on, is he going to be the new Dino Kresinger?
Hopefully. He was a cult hero. He only scored 2 goals, but he was a cult hero at the Wanderers, yes.
We did have a few Croatian players from Croatia.
Not much success in the A-League.
Not much. Yeah, not much of a success. I think they just don't like the physicality of the competition anyway.
In the NSL, we had a lot of success. Jeez, you can rattle them off.
Oh, goodness me. Who was your favourite Croatian import in the NSL? Okay, put that in the comment section. I'm sure we're going to get up all sorts of interesting names, and I'm just waiting to see if anyone's going to say Drago Dejankovic. But we'll see. We'll see. Who was your favourite? I tell you what, I actually thought Žarko Ojakov until I found out he was Macedonac. I thought Žarko in a Croatian name, maybe, Ojakov, maybe he's from Murter or something like that. I don't know. And I tell you what, that was one of the reasons why I started following Sydney United back.
He was amazing. He's one of the best imports ever to come to Australia. Ever.
But he wasn't Croatian. He was
Macedonian. That's right.
But he was one of us when he played for Sydney.
I actually saw him on a park bench in front of the Budek Cafe in Rockdale about 18 months or so ago.
Folks, over to you. Who was your favourite Croatian import back in the NSL days, or even in the early stages of the A-League? And And don't say Josip Skorko in the first year of the Melbourne Heart. He was returning back. He wasn't a Croatian import at the time, although he did come from overseas. Now, look, Ante, sometimes words just, what's the word? Words are not enough. You just got to let, you got to let the vision speak for itself. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's right. It was the derby, the Jadranski derby. Sold out, 32,500 people at the Poljud. Yeah, look, the atmosphere is unbelievable, but the euphoria at the moment that is just, in Split is pretty nuts. It's pretty crazy. But look, the euphoria has now driven, I think, the total number of members to 84,000. The number of season ticket holders to 15,000. But it's not just Hajduk. Like, obviously, we saw the sold out Osijek Opus Arena for the midweek cup game, the European Conference League game. Dinamo Zagreb had a really good crowd as well at the opening game of the season, the derby there as well. Apparently, records were broken when was it Istra this week hosted Dinamo Zagreb. Something like 5,000 fans turned up to that, 5,500 fans turned up. Let's quickly go and recap the results in round two. Varaždin drew with Slaven Belupo 2-2. Gorica defeated Lokomotiva Zagreb 1-0. Istra went down to Dinamo Zagreb 3-0, and we talked about that. I guess the brightest part of that game was the fact that, 5,500 turned up to the Aldo Drosina Stadium in Pula. Even the commentator wasn't sure if that was an all-time record, but let me just tell you that the Aldo Drosina Stadium was quite chockers. Look at this game. This was an unbelievable game. Rudeš taking on Osijek at the Kranjčević Road Stadium in driving rain. For the second week in a row, Osijek were playing in absolute torrential rain. Rudeš took a 3-0 lead, and then Osijek, courtesy of Ramon Mieres, who's in absolute fine form, and a hat-trick by former Hajduk Split captain Mio Caktaš. Look at that. Look at the score. 4-3 to Osijek. And then the final game, 1-0 to Hajduk Split in Rijeka, where the American-Lithuanian Rokas Pukstas scored the winning goal. And the kid is going to be something special. Can we?
Yeah, did you see the interview with him on Facebook after the game?
Was that the one in broken Croatian, or was that the one in American English?
He's speaking American English, heavy American accent. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyway, there's the ladder after 2 rounds, as you can see. Osijek and Hajduk at the top, 2 wins from 2 games. Their game this week has been postponed at Osijek's request. That would have been an absolute sellout at the Opus Arena. Would have been 13,000 hanging off the rafters. Gorica, surprisingly, 4 points from 2 games, but they have played some of the lower opposition. Dinamo Zagreb and Rijeka on 3 points. Then we've got Varaždin, who are unbeaten at the moment. One of 4 teams that are unbeaten, but they've drawn their opening 2 games. Lokomotiva and Istra 1-1. And Rudeš at the bottom, and Slaven Belupo. That should be over.
That should be the opposite. Yeah.
That should be the opposite way around. Yeah, Slaven Belupo are in 9th position, and Rudeš are down the bottom in 10th position. Okay, so if we go then to the fixtures for this weekend coming, Lokomotiva and Varaždin go head-to-head at 4 o'clock Saturday morning, our time here in Australia. That's Australian Eastern Standard Time. In Zagreb. Then in Koprivnica, Slaven Belupo take on Rudeš. Now, they're the 2 teams I'm tipping to fight it out for the wooden spoon this year. That's in the wee hours of Sunday, 2:45 a.m. So that's a crucial game for both those teams. Dinamo Zagreb hosts Gorica on Sunday at 5 o'clock our time. And Osijek, as we said, is their game against Hajduk Split has been postponed. Then we've got the Kvarnerski Derby in Rijeka at the Rujevica Stadium. This always draws a really good crowd. Rijeka and Istra, that's at 5 o'clock on Monday morning. So that's going to be another big game. We have a look quickly at the crowds in this the second round, I should say, not the opening round. Slaven Belupo, they had a crowd of 1,800. Not a bad crowd considering the opposition wasn't really a heavily drawing one. Now we get into some of the poorer crowds. Gorica and Lokomotiva, 1,100. Istra and Dinamo, 5,000, 5,500. Rudeš and Osijek, 872 paying. There may well have been a few more. I don't know. But the big one, obviously, was Hajduk and Rijeka, 32,500, 41,000 in total. And the average there, 8,354. That's not a bad.
Wow. Hajduk really bringing up the average. Yeah, some of the other teams need to pick them.
They are indeed. Now, the Euros are flowing. That's what they are expecting. The Euros will be coming to Dinamo in a big, big way. It has been reported that that Livakovic now has been made. There's been an offer made for something like 10 million euros for him. I believe it's a Dutch club. I'll forget the name of the actual Dutch club, but there's talk that it's a concrete offer. So look, they are saying that the Croatian press reports are saying that Dinamo want to hold on to Luka Ivanušec, Josip Šutalo, and Dominik Livakovic until they've qualified for the Euro Champions League. And then they're prepared to let these players go. But look, if a really good offer comes along, that's just you cannot say no, then expect Dinamo to accept that. There's talk that any minute now, any hour now, that sometime today, that Joško Gvardiol is going to become the most expensive Croatian player ever. It's reported that Manchester City and his club, Leipzig, Red Bull Leipzig, have agreed to a figure in excess of 100 million euro. It's just a matter of time before this is announced.
Fantastic.
But never say never. You don't know until it actually happens, and then that's going to be the case. Now, tomorrow morning, Dinamo Zagreb taking on Astana from Kazakhstan. In Kazakhstan, the first leg, a 4-0 drubbing in Zagreb, but I'm sure this is going to be a little bit of a different game. They're playing on the AstroTurf of Astana's stadium. Now, that's going to be at 12 o'clock or midnight tonight. So for those of you that are willing to stay up and not just wake up tomorrow morning early and watch the highlights, go Dinamo Zagreb. If Dinamo can win this game, and I'm sure that they will, they'll progress to the next round where they'll take on AEK Athens from Greece, and that will be
huge.
Yeah, that'll be a massive game. That without a shadow of a doubt. Speaking of European competitions, the second round or the second qualifying round, the second leg matches will be taking place a little bit later this week on Friday morning. Osijek travel to the ZTE Arena, and I'm not going to pronounce that city in Hungary, but they'll be taking on the Zeds. Let's call them the Zeds. They go into this game with a 1-0 lead from the first leg, and that game is at 2:45 a.m. Our time. Rijeka are hosting the team from Kosovo, Dukagini. That's at the Rujevica Stadium, 4 o'clock our time. They're enjoying a 1-0 lead after the first round game. So, we're hoping that both those Croatian teams can get through. And certainly they stand a pretty good chance. Although, Osijek, they'll have a tough one. That will be a tough one away, whereas Rijeka, no doubt, will get the full support of the Armada and the other fans in Rijeka. For Hajduk fans, though, Beta Jerusalem from Israel will be hosting PAOK Thessaloniki from Greece. It's 0-0 after the first leg, and this game at the interestingly titled Teddy Stadium in Jerusalem. That game's at 3:30. The winner of that will progress to the next round where they will take on Hajduk Split. So it'll be interesting to see where that's going to take either of the teams. Now, Ante, the Croatia is what's the word? Croatia is progressing in many ways. For those of us that haven't been there for 5, 6, whatever years, and you come back, you see these dramatic advances, dramatic changes. And hey, look, you talk to the locals over in Croatia, they're impatient. They want things to get better overnight. But look, one sure way of showing that things are improving really well in the Croatian league is the amount of fan shops that the clubs are starting to pop up with. Most, if not all of the H&L clubs have got their own fan shops. You can get merchandise, you can get memorabilia, you can get all sorts of things. Of course, Hajduk and Dinamo are the front runners with regards to that. But Hajduk, not only are they the most popular club in Croatia, not only do they have the most members, but they've also now come out with the first 24-hour TV channel. HD TV, Hajduk digital TV, launched on Monday. They've had this internet, if you like, internet TV, if you like, before, but it wasn't actually a TV channel, but the 24-hour channel has launched. And let me tell you, so if you are a Hajduk fan, download the app or, on your desktop computer, on your laptop, however you like. And it certainly is worth losing a couple of hours a day, just losing yourself in the content. Some of the content's absolutely brilliant. And some of it, you often see behind the scenes stuff. I watched the other day an interview one of the guys had with the strength and conditioning coach as well. You don't really get a chance to listen to strength and conditioning coaches. And there's been some really there was another one where Emir Sahiti was driving the presenter, the host, and he's made him sort of detour through the streets of Split and say, it's my daughter's birthday today. I need to get her a present. He's gone off to the Hajduk shop, got her a present. Then he says to Sahiti, "Can you quickly just sign this as an autograph?" He goes, yeah, no problem. He goes, "But can you do it as Marko Livaja?" And the guy goes, "No, I can't do that." He goes, "Oh, can you at least sign it as Livaja's friend? Because my daughter is crazy about Livaja." But little of those behind the scenes things are fantastic.
Bit of fun.
Now, not to be outdone, our friends from Zagreb, Dinamo Zagreb, on the same day, they launched their own version of their Dinamo TV. It's called Dinamo Plus, and it is just as good and just as interesting. And if you're a Dinamo Zagreb fan, yes, download this app, lose yourself in some of the greatest, interviews, documentaries, footage as well, behind the scenes footage, all of that kind of stuff. It's just great to see that in every sense of the word, the Croatian Football League, the H&L, is just becoming a lot more progressive, a lot more professional, and I will say it, a lot more interesting as well. It's good to see.
Absolutely. If they can do it, Taunchy, we've got to launch 24 hours. We've got to work it out for next year, right?
Yeah, that's on the cards for next year. Folks, what would you like to see Ante and myself here at the Oz Cro Soccer Show do? Would love to know exactly what's going on.
Maybe don't write that up.
No. Who are some of the interesting or your favourite Croatian?
Vedran Rožić is leading at the moment. Vedran Rožić is leading. Yeah.
Petar Finka says Vedran Rožić by far. We've got, who else says it? Don Vlatko Pajo Mujančić, Vedran Rožić as well. Tom, who's this? Tony Hečimović says Bruno Čagan. I don't remember. Who was Bruno Čagan?
Yeah, legend, absolutely. Before our time, maybe.
Yeah. Miro Stipić or Fadil Nurici. Ooh, I remember that. Tony Chavar.
You can't put that down.
Fadil Nurici. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of legends from the past. I'm surprised Josip Biskić hasn't made a mention yet. Far out. Come on. There's got to be other favourites that have come out.
Željko Adžić, Branko Milošević. Come on, guys. Velimir Kuprešak. Ivan Đuzel, Željko Jurin, Ante Rumora. Come on.
Ivan Petković. That's right. Come on. You can rattle them off.
The list goes on and on and on. Folks, all right, we're going to take a break. When we return, we will be joined by the gentlemen from the Croatian Soccer Association of Australia, all commonly and affectionately referred to as the Savers. They'll be bringing us up to date with all the latest goings on with the Adelaide Croatian tournament. Promises to be a huge one. And then following that, we'll also be having the live draw of the various divisions. Don't go away, folks. It's the Oz Cro Soccer Show, episode 47. Thank you for being a part of tonight's show. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Oz Cro Soccer Show. And just prior to the break, we were asking our viewers to get involved and say who was your favourite Croatian import back in the NSL days. Oh, could be the NPL. And also the early stages of the A-League. And Tony Chavar is a very opinionated man. Emil Dragicevic and Vanja Iveša. Now, Vanja Iveša was playing still up until a few years ago. I do believe for it wasn't Orient. It was Opatija, NK Opatija in the Croatian, I think the second tier or third tier competition. And he was still, as tall as ever, standing between the sticks. And great name, that one. But Ante, it's time now to introduce our guests. And first of all, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome to the show the president of the Croatian Soccer Association of Australia, Jure Dragovic. Jure, how are you, mate? Great to have you on the show.
Dobro večer, momci. Thank you. I'm very well, and hope you and all your viewers and listeners are as well.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you on the show. Now, it's going to be such a big show, Jure, that you alone are not able to deliver what we're going to deliver tonight. That you've all brought two of your friends along. Let's introduce first of all the treasurer of the Croatian Soccer Association, Tom LUKIC. Tom, welcome to the show. You are the money man, the man that everyone respects the most, or maybe they don't.
The least.
The least expected. When the invoices start coming.
The most.
Good evening, all. Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure, and always happy to help out the community any way I can. And the SAV has been a big part of my contribution, I guess. And it's been a great. I mean, almost 10 years I've been on the committee. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. Now, we always say, Ante, the treasurer, everyone respects the treasurer, but the man who wields the most power in any organisation, any football committee, is the football operations man. And it's an absolute pleasure to bring to the screen, all the way from the Gold Coast, the sunny Gold Coast, the football ops man, DAMIEN BRESIC. DAMIEN, how are you, mate? And it's great to have you on the Oz Cro Soccer Show.
Pleasure to be here, Tonch and Ante, and thanks for that wonderful introduction. I don't know how much power I've got. It's my first year. Tom's got 10, so he's got a little bit of seniority about me, so I still have to listen to him a little bit, but we'll do our best.
You'll grow your way into it.
Yeah. Just a quick one, Ante. Gold Coast Knights are playing Saturday night, not Sunday. Sorry for the correction, but it's Saturday night, 7:30 at AJ Kelly.
Perfect. See, the internet's wrong. I should ring you. I got to ring you before I do the news.
Damien, is that because of the Australia Cup fixture next Wednesday night? Yep.
So, Ante, you were correct. It was originally scheduled for Sunday, but then because of the player welfare and whatnot, and given the Knights as much chance to recover for the Australia Cup game, they moved it to Saturday night to give us 24 hours extra. So,
good idea.
Saturday night, 7:30.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Go the boys.
Now, we'll bring you back up on screen. Let's first of all talk about the Australian Croatian tournament. We know it just gets bigger and bigger, and that bloody thing called COVID really put a break to the growth, I guess, a few years back. But let's talk about some of the total number of registrations in recent years. Just before COVID hit, it was just amazing the number of teams that were coming in. So bring us up to date with how many teams have registered this year, but also some of the record numbers we had in recent years.
Yeah, so I mean, everything's relative. So this year we've had by historical standards an excellent registration number. We've got 52 teams who have registered to participate in this year's tournament, to be hosted by Adelaide, Croatia. We're coming off, so 2018 in Gold Coast represented the then record number of teams at 58. That included 2 international teams that we were fortunate enough to bring. 2019 in Dandenong, we hit 58 once again without international teams. So in theory, that's probably the record number. And then last year we missed 2 years, unfortunately, due to the global pandemic. And then last year was our first tournament for 3 years, and we had 57 teams in King Tom. And now everyone likes to go to the Gold Coast, so Gold Coast obviously tracks big numbers. Whenever the tournament is Melbourne and Sydney, we tend to get a few more teams, under 21 teams joined that wouldn't necessarily travel to an interstate tournament. So to get 52 in Adelaide is a fantastic effort. But listen, to get to 58, we really can't go more than that. We haven't got that many teams from a senior level to do that. So it's probably reached its zenith, and very fortunate at this point in time that, we're still, clinging on to that 25, 26 active teams of Croatian descent, active clubs, I should say, across Australia.
And like you mentioned, Jure, we did have those 2 international teams. I mean, we're always open to those international teams to come into the future as well. So you never know, it could grow, right?
Well, it took me 5 or 6 years to get those 2, and they ended up coming in the same tournament. And listen, we put the feelers out every year, and we're always hopeful that we will get a positive response. But yes, as you can imagine, to bring a touring party of 20 or 25 people, the cost of flights these days as well. But yeah, I mean, we've got open connections with teams in Germany, North America, as well in the diaspora there. So hopefully we will be able to attract one of them in the near future.
Tom, now over to you. Look, obviously, apart from the fact that you're treasurer, you've also been involved for over 10 years now. In that time, you've obviously seen so many highs and lows, some great highlights, and the tournament as a tournament, and not just a tournament, an event, has really grown in that time. What are some of your recollections, of past tournaments? And over the last, let's say, decade or so, that really stick in your mind?
Yeah, good question. I mean, it has grown. Almost 2012 was a tipping point with when Gold Coast put on an absolute, just a show with the circus tent and the like, and that really got, I guess, a new flavor
dimension,
and a new dimension to the tournament, and just from there, I joined in 2012, where at the Wollongong tournament, and just a small club, and what they were able to do was just was impressive. And then just from there, every year it's gone on and on and on, and it seems like everyone wants to outdo each other. But for me, when it comes to the tournament, it's just when you see everyone together, particularly on the Sundays always pull on the heartstrings. Everyone just gets together, and it's just a absolute show. So there's not probably, every tournament's virtually a highlight for me.
Yeah, after the final whistle's gone, and then you've got that concert at the end, it's fantastic seeing everyone come together. I totally agree with you, Tom. And for the first time this year, we've got international artists actually performing. I mean, how exciting is that?
Oh, the hype! I know from being a Melbourne boy, the hype in Melbourne about the Soccer boys is, just questions were left, right, and centre. Even when rumours were coming out, that everyone was approaching me saying, "Is it true? Is it not true? Are they coming out? Are they not?" So, no, that's a massive effort from Adelaide to get them at the tournament. So Friday night will probably be as big as a Sunday night.
Yeah, and if we just pop on the screen some of the events that are happening there, we've got a call for volunteers at the moment. So, look, if you're going to go to Adelaide and you've got a few hours spare, or you're planning to have a few hours spare, or you just want to contribute to the tournament, all hands on deck. What's the old saying? Many hands make light work. So, pozivamo dragovoljce. We're calling for volunteers if you'd like to help at the Croatian soccer tournament. As I said, even if it's for a couple of hours, for a shift or two, we want to hear from you. Register now. And there's the website, croatiaraiders.com.au/tournament 2023. croatiaraiders.com.au/tournament 2023. And then this is awesome. Ručak ispod masline, an Olive Grove lunch on the Friday, the 29th of September. An exclusive dining experience set within the Croatian Sports Centre's very own Olive Grove. Limited tickets, early bookings essential. Gents, who's been there and who's seen this Olive Grove? Is that fair income? You were there?
No, it's fair income. I think it was a concept in 2016, so it's obviously turned into reality there. So I'm not too sure where the olives stem from. It could be down there from southern Dalmatia, who knows? But they pick the olives and make some oil and the whole lot. So don't know how much there are, but obviously it's they harvest them, and so it's a fantastic initiative by the Adelaide tournament organising committee for something different for that lunch on the Friday. And further to that, we haven't got the graphic up, but there is the tickets are on sale for the tournament gala, which will be held at a very nice modern venue, the revamped Adelaide Oval. So tickets on the Saturday night of the tournament as well.
Yeah. Do we have a website where they can get the tickets from?
That'll all be easily accessed from the tournament website that you just read out before.
Yep. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. Yeah. Now, Damien, bringing you on Football Ops. Speaking of Football Ops, now we're in the midst of the Women's World Cup, and the Chinese national team has actually based itself at the Adelaide Croatian Sports Centre. Does that mean? I mean, obviously, the legacy of that is that the pitch itself is in absolutely top-notch nick. But has there been any other talk of any other legacy items that will be left over from the Women's World Cup?
From a Croatian club's perspective, I don't think many, but from I know up here in Queensland, we've had a number of clubs that have benefited greatly. I mean, there is a little bit of inconvenience where they've lost their clubs, literally Brisbane City, Brisbane Lions, and even the home of Football Queensland, Meakin Park. We've lost that venue now for 2 months while FIFA literally takes control of it. But, Olympics had something like $200,000 invested into it, plus a new pitch, same as Lions with lights. And so, the legacy is good, but unfortunately, it sounds like it's only really been Adelaide that's been able to benefit from it from a Croatian club's perspective.
Yeah, well, certainly the pitch is going to be pristine, and we're looking forward to that. But the football operations side of things, how has it been this year to organise that side of things with regards to the actual running of the tournament? Has it been pretty easy? Have the clubs been pretty cooperative in getting the registrations in early?
Look, to be fair, I haven't really had to do too much yet. My work's going to start after the draw gets done tonight, I guess. But most of the first challenge was getting all the nominations in and making sure that everyone's registered and we know who's where, and then assigning them to divisions. And I think Tom needs a lot of credit to that. He's not just a treasurer, but he's been our go-to man chasing up nominations and whatnot. So we've got all that. So. As late as today, I think we had a couple of late entries that took us to 52. So now that we're set, we'll get the draw done. The groupings done. I will then hopefully work on the draw in the next 3 or 4 days and have a draft draw out that we can hopefully present in the next sort of 10 days to everybody.
Damien, who were those clubs that didn't register till today? Do you want to reveal them or not?
I'm not telling you that. That's all right.
Touched on there, come on.
No.
Better late than
They
never.
had things to do. They were busy. They were busy organising
As
things.
they say in Croatian, bolje ikad nego nikad. Better late than never.
Exactly.
100%.
Gents, thank you very much. We're going to take a very, very short break. Look, after this break, it's all about the draw. So, folks, get yourself ready. Get your pens and papers ready because it is all about the draw coming up straight after this. It's the Oz Cro Soccer Show. It's episode 47. Folks, don't go away.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory. Until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
And we're back on the Oz Cro Soccer Show. And that jingle just didn't want to work. It was just getting a bit slow there. But, folks, over to you, over to Tom LUKIC, who is going to be conducting this draw.
Yeah, so we're going to start
Tom's
off.
got his... Go, Tom.
Now, I was just going to say before Tom starts, just to give everyone a heads up, the first group draw that we're going to do is the men's Division 1, the Premier Division. We've got 11 clubs who have registered to play in Division 1. 5 from Victoria, 1 from South Australia, 2 from New South Wales, 2 from Canberra and 1 from Queensland. So we're looking at 2 groups. The first group will have 6 clubs in it. The second group will have 5. And in accordance to the same rules that we've applied year after year, we're going to limit the amount of teams wherever possible from the same state to occur in the same group. But given that of the 11 teams, 5 are from Victoria, so the first 5 balls in Tom's Kupus Bowl, as you can see it there, will be Victorian teams. So basically we're going to draw out balls 1 through 5, which are the 5 Vic-based teams. The first club drawn will go in Group A, which will be a 6-team group. The second club will be B, and then we'll go back to A, B, and the 5th team as well. So hope that all makes sense. So the first team to be drawn in Group A, Men's Division 1, is
Number 4.
which is FC Strathmore Split. So Strathmore will be in Group A. Next Melbourne team in Group B is
Number 5.
number 5 being Dandenong City Hayduk. So that leaves Melbourne Knights, North Geelong and Dinamo, numbers 1, 2 and 3 left. So the next team in Group A,
Number 2.
North Geelong Warriors. We should have number 1 and number 3. So this is the second team in Group B,
Number 3.
St Albans Dinamo. So that
Reigning
leaves
champions, yeah?
reigning champions, yep. And record number of titles in the Crow Tawnies. Number 1, Melbourne Knights go into Group A. So the next lot of balls will be numbered 6 through 11, which are the rest of the clubs. And just to make sure, we will separate the 2 New South Wales teams and we'll separate the 2 ACT teams when drawn. So first ball out is number 11, which is the Gold Coast Knights. Group B. Back to Group A. Number 10, Canberra, Croatia. So we've got to make sure that O'Connor go in the opposite group. O'Connor, you're number 9.
Number 7.
Number 7 is Sydney United.
Yeah,
So
boys.
just got to make sure that Hurstville and O'Connor.
Number 9.
Number 9 is O'Connor Knights. So they are. Can someone confirm they're in the opposite group to Canberra?
Tawanshi and Damien have to have it all together.
Yep, O'Connor Knights in Group B. Yep.
Yep. Number 6, Adelaide Croatia Raiders. And the last team in Group A will be
Number 8.
number 8, who are
Hurstville in A then.
Okay, the boys from Hurstville. So there you go. There's Division 1.
Can someone confirm that Hurstville and Sydney are in 2 different groups?
Yes.
Tawanshi will bring up the graphic very shortly, right? Just hold off a little bit, Tom.
Yeah, well, Tom can prepare for the next one, but if you
We're nearly there. And boys, we also failed to forget to say about the women's one as well, that the women's have only got 5 teams in it. And so as a result, there's not a draw required. But in the meantime, let's bring up the men's Division 1 groups, Yoda.
Yep. So thank you for doing that. You can see, so Group A, 6 teams there. Group B, and we've got rid of, and in accordance to separating teams from the same state, everything works out well there.
We've got 2 of the Australia Cup teams in Group A and 2 of the Australia Cup teams in Group B. So they've separated themselves out as well.
Yeah, and it'll be a really, I think we've got 8 NPL teams amongst our Division 1 contingent, but 40-minute games. It's always very tight, and in most years, the winner is quite deserving of it.
Gents, can I just say one thing? Forget the National Second Division. Forget the A-League. Imagine this is a Second Division. Oh, how good would this be? Gents, can we work on getting a Croatian National League happening? That is absolutely unbelievable. That is great.
So
Fantastic stuff.
That's the
Not a bad idea, Tonch.
Football Ops, what do you reckon?
Great idea.
You organise it, Damien, okay?
Be a hell of a lot cheaper than what the B League's going to cost.
I'm sure we could probably get some sponsors somewhere, could we not?
I might work on that one.
Anyway,
are we ready for the next one, or shall we bring up the women's draw now?
Bring up the women's graphic.
Okay.
That's probably easiest. So, unfortunately, this year we're down in women's senior numbers, but we've got a competition happening. So everyone will play each other once, and the 2 top teams will play off in the final. So you can see there with the Canberra Croatia, the Adelaide Croatia lists, it's the North Geelong Warriors, who are reigning champions, won the title in King Tom last year, St Albans Dynamo, and the girls from FC Strathmore Split.
Fantastic stuff. Go the ladies with the Women's World Cup. I'm sure they're going to be out to impress again and as well.
Okay, so we move on to Division 2 men's, and we've got 18 teams in Divi 2. 8 of them come from New South Wales. We've got 5 from Victoria, 1 from Western Australia. It's good to see the Western Knights, the old North Perth Croatia, will be participating this year. 2 from Queensland, the Gold Coast Knights and Brisbane Knights, the host club Adelaide Croatia Raiders, the Vukovi, and the surprise leaders of the ACT in the NPL, their under-21 team, the O'Connor Knights. So they're the 18 teams that will partake in this group, in this division, I should say, and we're going to go with 18 to have 3 groups of 6. And so basically it'll all even itself out, but the first 8 balls in Tom's Kupus Bowl are all the Sydney-based clubs. So before he pulls any balls out, just from a matter of transparency, number 1 will be Sydney United, number 2, Kral Tomislav Team A, number 3, Kral Tomislav Team B, number 4, Warrington Croatia, 5, South Coast United, 6, Dalmatia Sydney, 7, HNK Densel Park, and number 8, Newcastle Croatia. So he'll he'll pull out one ball at a time, and we'll populate basically Group A, B, C, return to A until all 8 are pulled out. So the first club, which will go into Group A of -2,
Yes. Number 3.
HNK Kralj Tomislav B.
Number 4.
Wellington, Croatia. Group B. Now Group C.
Is number 2.
HNK Kralj Tomislav A, which separates the 2 King Tom teams.
Number 7.
Back to Group A, HNK Edensor Park.
And number 6.
Number 6, Dalmatia Sydney.
Number 5.
South Coast United, the boys from the Gong.
Number 8.
Newcastle, Croatia.
The last one. Number 1.
Sydney United. So
And who are the reigning champions of this division, Jordan?
boys from King Tom, one of the King Tom teams.
Yes, they won it last year. That's
won
right.
it last year.
The host won. That's right.
That the division, right? So the rest of so what do we got here now, Tom? The next 5 are all the Victorian teams.
Correct.
So the next team pulled out will go into Group C, and then we go back to A again. And so just from the transparency, number 9 is Melbourne Knights, number 10 is Strathmore Split, 11 Dandenong City, 12 the boys from Vukovar, St Albans Vukovar, and number 13 boys from Gorspic Bears.
Number 11.
Dandenong City.
Number 10.
FC Strathmore Split.
Number 9.
Melbourne Knights FC.
Number 12.
St Albans Vukovar.
And the last one, number 13.
Gorspic Bears. So the last
There we have
5 remaining balls will be numbers 14 through 18, with number 14 being Western Knights, 15 Brisbane Knights, 16 Gold Coast Knights, 17 Adelaide Croatia Raiders, and 18 the O'Connor Knights. So let's finish off this group.
So you're the next one will go into Group B.
Yep.
Number 17.
Number 17, Adelaide Croatia.
Number 18.
O'Connor Knights.
Number 14.
Western Knights.
Number 15.
Brisbane Knights.
The last one, number 16.
Gold Coast Knights.
Yeah, got it.
So you have it. And a lot of people saying Div 2 was Hersel Zagreb last year. That was Jakov Radash's double, I remember, in the final there.
Yeah, it was a fantastic final day at King Tom last year with the crowd, albeit being fluid, but easily matching the crowd that we had at the final at Dandenong, more than 5,000 people. So hopefully we can get those numbers again in Adelaide. So there's the graphic, 3 groups of 6. So we're looking at 5 group games being played, and then we'll go to quarterfinals. So the top 2 in every team, in every group will qualify for the quarterfinals, and the 2 best third-place teams will also qualify. So quite competitive, Divi 2. A lot of good youth teams, players on show as well, and like I said, a really competitive division.
Yeah, terrific stuff. And good to see Western Knights there again.
Absolutely. So now we'll move on to the the starci, well, some studier than others. We've showed the women's graphics, so now we move on to the Masters division, which is the over 35s, and we've got 10 teams that will separate into 2 groups of 5. We've got 5 teams from New South Wales. So the first 5 will be the New South Wales teams that will start populating Group A, B, and then back to A. And then the following 5 teams will be made up of 3 Victorian teams, a Queensland team, and a South Australia. So for transparency, number 1 will be Hurstville Zagreb A. Number 2 will be Hurstville Zagreb B. Number 3 will be HNK Kralj Tomislav. Number 4, last year's champions, Sydney United FC. Number 5, Dalmatia Sydney. Number 6, Dandenong City Hajduk. Number 7, the Gorspic Bears. Number 8, St Albans Vukovar. Number 9, the Brisbane Knights. And number 10, Adelaide Croatia Raiders. So the first 5 will all be New South Wales teams. First club drawn.
Number 1.
Hurstville Zagreb A. You've got to make sure that the other Hurstville goes in the other group, is drawn.
Number 4.
Sydney United, 58 FC.
Number 5.
Dalmatia Sydney.
Number 2.
Just as well, Hurstville Zagreb B.
And number 3.
And number 3 leaves the boys from King Tom. So the next 5 balls will be the remainder of the Masters division, the over 35s. We just got to make sure, no, we don't have to separate anyone. Or we just need to make sure that, well, it's not possible either, I don't think. One group will have 2 Victorian teams in it. So,
Now the first ball out, Yuri, just for clarity, will go into Group B.
Number 8.
Number 8 is St Albans Vukovar.
Number 10.
Adelaide Croatia Raiders.
That is number 6.
Number 6.
9.
Number
Sorry.
9, Brisbane Knights.
Number 7.
The Gorspic Bears.
Finally, number 6.
Dandenong City Hajduk.
It's always a hotly contested division after a couple of days of final. Geez, the guys get tired, don't they? After a few days of playing and drinking.
Oh, listen, the 35s, it's not easy. It's a tough comp, especially if they're 35, 36, and they're ex-NPL players who are generally in a good condition as well. It's a tough comp.
Yeah, last year we had a good splattering of ex-NSL players. We had Tommy Pontiac. We had, I think Jason Chelina. We had players like that as well appear, didn't we?
Yeah, well, Peter Markovic has led the Sydney United team to the title last year. So it's, like I said, there's some big names that play in that comp.
Absolutely. Ante Čović, players like that as well, who played for Australia as well.
Yep. So that leaves us to the last division of the tournament, which is the veterans. So these are the starts here, the over 45s. But really, they add a fantastic element to the tournament. You won't see the pace of the game being a cracker pace here, but you'll also see some big names, former NSL players playing. So this represents the 3rd veterans tournament. It was introduced in Dandenong. And last year was taken out by Hurstville Zagreb, I'm pretty sure.
Soon we're going to need a walking soccer division, I think.
The next division we've got is the Briškole and Šah.
I'll answer that one.
I reckon that might be the biggest growing division in years to come.
Ante, don't laugh about walking football, mate. It's taking off up here slowly.
Yeah, too. Let me tell you. I think that could be the next one.
So
growth opportunity.
So in this competition, we've got 8 teams. We've got 3 from Victoria, 1 from Queensland. So I'll read them out. Number 1 will be Melbourne Knights. Number 2, Strathmore Split. Number 3, Wednesday Knights. Number 4, Gold Coast Knights. Number 5, Adelaide Croatia Raiders. Number 6, Canberra Croatia. Number 7, Hurstville Zagreb. And number 8, South Coast United from Wollongong. So just remind me, Tom, how are we going with this? Is it the 3 Vic teams?
First, the 3 Vic teams, and then we'll do the rest.
Okay, so 2 groups of 4, and one group will obviously have 2 teams from Victoria in it. So the first Victorian team drawn out at the top of Group A in the veterans is?
Number 1.
Todd?
Hello?
Yude looks like he's paused.
Oh, no, Yude.
We might have to re-log in. Who's number 1 according to your list, boys?
Melbourne Knights.
Exactly. There you go. Tom, I might say you're doing a fantastic job, let me tell you.
Currently, Melbourne Knights having an undefeated season. Drawn 1 and won the rest. So hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, we'll be down there on walking sticks celebrating the title with them.
Looks like Yude is just frozen in time. So, Tom, you take over, and Damage, you also lead the way.
Next one, number 2.
Strathmore. So they go into Group B.
The last one, number 3.
Wednesday nights.
Good old Wednesday nights.
I love that name. That's a terrific name.
Now, the Wednesday Nights boys have become a bit of an institution. They actually are more of a social club, and they actually aren't a club per se, Tom, but they are, the first ones that always register at every Croatian tournament. They are the life of the party. Could this be a trend in years to come that we start to see more and more of these, what do you want to call them, društveni clubs or social clubs or whatever, forming with a bunch of football enthusiasts? I say ex-football enthusiasts, current football enthusiasts. Could this be a trend, mate?
I hope so. Most of the people I know, I'm getting into that age gap as well, where, you want that social aspect in your life, and soccer's always been the connection with the majority of our community. So hopefully we get more and more of them, and that will only grow the tournament and make it more family friendly and exciting.
Yeah,
but in an ideal scenario, Tonch, what we'd like to do is that these people align themselves with an existing member, rather than coming in as a standalone club that might be there just for one tournament or whatever else. So the idea, to be honest, wouldn't be to get more numbers per se, but to get people aligned with existing clubs and then come along as the old boys of O'Connor or the old boys of Adelaide or whatever else.
Good point. Yep. Yude's back. Yude, welcome back.
Welcome back, Yude.
Sorry, buddy. I had to feed some more peanuts to the monkey for the power.
Well, we've done 1, 2, and 3, Yude, so we're up to Group B.
Okay, so we've done the Melbourne teams. Is that right?
Yep. So Group B, our next ball out will go into Group B.
So just to repeat, number 4 will be Gold Coast Knights, 5 Adelaide Croatia Raiders, 6 Canberra Croatia, 7 Hurstville, 8 South Coast United. So where you go, Tom?
Number 7.
Number 7, Hurstville Zagreb.
So into Hurstville into Group B.
Number 6.
Number 6, Canberra Croatia.
Number 8.
South Coast United. So we might have to, that's a second New South Wales team, is that right?
Yeah.
So if you can just pop them back in to the bowl, or just put them aside and draw another one.
Come through out number 8 again. Number 4.
Number 4, Gold Coast Knights, who were the inaugural winners of the Veterans back in 2019 in Dandenong.
Number 8.
That's the boys from South Coast, the Gong.
And
which leaves Adelaide for the last spot in Group B.
Number 5, Adelaide Croatia Raiders. So that will complete the draw. So if you want to put that graphic up, I've got to see where Wednesday nights ended up.
And Ivo Spanicek,
Group A.
Ivo Spanicek is saying he's looking for players. So if anyone's got some spare boots, contact Ivo.
Ivy's always looking for players. There you go. So two groups of four, and essentially the top two in each group will qualify directly for the semi-finals before the big final on the Sunday. That is, if enough hamstrings haven't popped by that point in time. Or it's a tough division. It's a last man standing affair a lot of the time.
They could be relegated to the Briscoe division if their performance isn't on par. But I guess that's why copious amounts of alcohol are consumed at these tournaments, not to get drunk, but to actually numb the pain that happens on the field. But yeah, gents, thank you so much for your contribution today. Before you guys do go, let's go through the divisions again. Yura, over to you, starting with the men's division.
Won't read them out at all. We'll share these graphics if you can after the show. But it's just to reiterate, everyone. So the Group A will play one extra group game, but essentially the top two from each division will qualify straight for the semis in Group A and in Division 1. In Division 2, we've got 3 groups of 6, so there'll be a lot of group games played. We'll go to quarterfinals, so that the top two teams of each group will automatically qualify for the quarters, as will the 2 best third-place teams. The women's division, essentially everyone will play each other once, and the top 2 of that division will automatically qualify for the final. And in the Masters, the over 35s, again, there's going to be 4 group games, and we'll go straight to semis. So the top 2 in each group will qualify for the semis. And just as well, we've only got 8 teams, so there'll be 3 group games for both groups in the veterans, with the top 2 in each group going to the semis.
Fantastic. Really looking forward to the tourney. Can't wait.
Awesome. Thank you, gents. That's going to and that is going to that wraps it up for our tournament draw. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in. Thank you so much for that. If you're a first-time viewer, make sure you tune in again next week as well and thereafter. But gents, over to you. First of all, thank you, Yura, thank you, Damien, and thank you, Tom, for being a part of tonight's show.
Tons, just a quick one on your best import. What do you define? Because my best import is Billy Wojtek.
Billy Wojtek.
Yes, good one. Very good selection.
True, very good. Yeah, very good point. Yeah, he's an absolute legend.
Very well renowned.
Yeah, I guess the criteria is wide and varied, as long as they didn't pull on the blue, white, reds of Footscray Just or anything like that. On that note, thanks, Damien. Much appreciated. Thanks, Yura, and thanks, Tom.
No worries.
Thanks for the opportunity, guys. And all the best for the rest of the year.
Thank you, guys. Looking forward to the tournament. Absolutely. How exciting. I mean, the oldest tournament that exists. Other ethnicities have tried it since and are doing it. But the Croatian tournament of Australia is the oldest of its type and just growing, like we said before, bigger and bigger. I mean, last year it started on a Wednesday night and went all over to the Sunday. So fantastic. Yeah, it's a huge party, huge celebration. It's not only football.
Yeah. Now we earlier in the year we actually had the folk Stan Kozilic and Stella as well from the Adelaide Croatia organising committee. And if you missed that episode, go to our YouTube channel and you'll be able to see it. I think it was our episode 2 or episode 3. And all the facilities are right there. All the grounds are right there. The state sports centre or the state football centre is right next door to the Adelaide Croatian Sports Centre. So, Auntie, can you remember, was it eight fields or something
8
like
fields,
that? Or 12?
You're not going to need buses to go elsewhere. It's going
to be amazing. And actually, one of the very, very first Croatian soccer tournaments I ever attended was in Adelaide early 90s, and it was as memorable. I think I've got scars still to prove it, but it was a very, very memorable tournament, and lifelong friends were made at that tournament. So yeah, it's definitely something to look forward to, folks. Next week, as Ante pointed out earlier in the show, we will be going out on Tuesday night, not on the Wednesday night, and that is because of the Australia Cup finals, or the final round of 32 fixtures. We'll go through that now. One last time, Sydney United on Friday night at Broadmeadow Magic in Newcastle. Canberra, Croatia travels to the Harbour City, to your neck of the woods, Ante, to take on Mount Druitt Town Rangers. And then Wednesday of next week, Gold Coast Knights hosting Tasmania's Devonport City Strikers, who've got a very, very similar, in fact, identical logo to the Brisbane Strikers, sister clubs or something like that. And then Melbourneites taking on Brisbane's Lions FC on Thursday night at Knights Stadium. Get along to any one of those 4 matches. It is going to be huge. And next week's show, next Tuesday's show, Ante, is also going to be huge. We will hopefully have a representative from each one of those 4 competing Croatian clubs in the Australia Cup. It should be absolutely massive. So cannot wait for that.
Football, of course, Sydney United trying to get to the final like they did last year. I mean, how great was that? So yeah, go every Croatian team. Let's see how far we can go.
Absolutely. Thank you once again, folks. Thank you very much for being a part of tonight's show. We had record-breaking numbers tuning in from all parts of the country, and we've had thank you to everyone who said where they're from. When you look around it, it's going to be pretty awesome, actually. Like there are people from all parts of the country jumping in, and as Josip Zilic also says, yes, that's right. North Geelong Warriors will be playing Oakley round 25 next week. And we hopefully will have a live cross, maybe even to Josip Zilic. He's going to be, I'm sure he's going to be there. We'll have to bring him for old time's sake onto the show.
And I think we've created history with the Kupuš Bowl. I think that's going to become a major part of the Croatian tournaments in future. And I think we need to have the Kupuš Bowl at the tournament, I think.
Yeah, and Jure Dragovic, not Jure Dragovic, the president of the Croatian Soccer Association of Australia, but Jure Dragovic, the radio presenter, our colleague from down in Melbourne. He says, and I'll pop this on the show, he's got a little bit of a plug for. Join us tomorrow night for an Oluja special show on Hrvatski Radio Ponos 88.9 Win FM. DJ Yadac. Oh, there's a blast from the past. The Three Aunties and myself. Is that a comedy show? Is it? The Three Aunties. Lots of testosterone in the Werribee studio for all of you out of towners. Werribee to Melbourne is like Zaprešić or Gorica to Zagreb. From 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. or podcast recording thereafter. Do tune in for that. Folks,
the comments tonight have been hilarious. Keep them coming. I love them.
They have been great.
I agree, Josip.
Yeah. Okay, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, don't just come here once a blue moon, and as some of our esteemed priests used to say, jedno godišnjaci. They come along only to Christmas Mass or to Easter Mass. Be regular visitors to our show and tune in again next week. Thank you once again for your presence tonight. We've been blessed truly with your presence wherever you may be.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's the Oz Cro Soccer Show. Good night.
Laku noć.